This is Den Usa, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's snowing now. So we're going to do this next video from the car here. We're at Alameda in Santa Fe in South Denver, Colorado, and this is my rail fanning 101 video. You know, rail fanning is a lot of fun, but there are some tips and cautions that I'd like to pass on to you, and even as a refresher course to old-timer rail fans like myself. Number one, don't enter railroad right-of-ways. Stay off and away from railroad cars, switches, and locomotives. The thing is you know, this is not the 80s and the 90s. You know, we were living in a really much tougher, secure world now, and the railroad police and the local police really frown on this sort of stuff. And not do they just frown on it, but they are more likely to write you a citation or oftentimes arrest you than to just give you a stern warning. Number two, don't walk on the tracks. Trains these days can be very quiet with the locomotives now. These are not the same engines that were running. They had, say, 30, 40 years ago, which you could definitely hear most times. The other thing is nowadays, a lot of places and a lot of railroad companies practice no horns zones, and that means that, where in the past you could hear the train whistling for the crossing a mile or 5 miles or even 10 miles away, and that hasn't happened as much these days. Number three, don't trespass on private property or on railroad yards or maintenance facilities without explicit permission. Number four, don't drive on railroad access roads. These are those kind of little tracks that kind of follow the railroad, that look like roads and everything else. Well, they're actually in the right-of-way of the railroad, and they're railroad property, and that too is considered trespassing and gets you into a lot of trouble. Alright, that's it for the don'ts. Do know your vehicle limitations. Driving on sketchy roads or areas can cause blown out tires, body damage, and the worst, probably I think the most expensive of all, is getting stuck. And then, if you're not on, tow trucks are expensive as it is if they got to pull you off a paved road. If you're back a ways, even if you're 50 or 100 feet off the main highway, that's an extrication, and that is going to cost you hundreds, if not maybe even thousands of dollars. Number two, do stay at least 10 feet away from the tracks. Any tracks. That includes yard tracks, sidings, etc. There's two reasons for this. A is the obvious safety and trespassing issue, but B is from a rail fanning point of view. You'll be too close to see the train details when it passes you in person, and it's even worse if you're videotaping or photographing. Try to stay at least, if you're doing any of this stuff, at least try to stay 20 or 30 feet. And like I said, most right-of-ways for railroads are at least 10 feet from the edge of the rails. Number three, do have plenty of food, water, and gas, because most railroad locations for rail fanning tend to be isolated. Even in towns and cities, where I'm sitting right now, still can seem and can be somewhat remote to the normal things we expect to be around what we need. And here's a great example of why you want this sort of stuff. You know, you could be going to go get that lunch break or soda and be paying the cashier for all this when that once-a-day train comes past your location, but you're not there to see it. Number 4, bring plenty of reading material and music and cards and other kind of activities. Despite all those great and many great train videos that show trains passing all the time, and you know, the thing is, what they don't show you is all the waiting. You know, I've been sitting here for, I don't know, oh gosh, 3.5 hours now. And this is the main line. This is the line that goes from Denver southward to Pueblo, Colorado Springs. And I've seen one train in 3.5 hours. Number 5, Number 5, do write down those railroad contact numbers if you're near a railroad crossing. So if you could call if there's an accident or a problem, like a trespasser, or if there's a misaligned or an unlocked switch, you might prevent a derailment, or you might even save a life. Number 6, for short lines and excursion railroads, I highly recommend you do go to that line's railroad's office or headquarters, and in person, be nice and friendly. Say, hey, I'm going to be rail fanning on your line today. Just want to let you know what's going on. And you know, this is just common courtesy, but it also, well, it'll stop you from having a lot less contacts with law enforcement. You're still going to get them. I get stopped a fair number of times, and you know, if you deal with law enforcement, just smile. You're going to have to give you the ID and such, and you know, you're going to have to explain what exactly you're doing. So it helps to have photos, videos, rail magazines, and scanners also help. Anyways, getting back to small lines, going into small line headquarters railroad, is that, you know, if you're nice and friendly, they might tell you when that train's going to be that day, or if there's going to be a train that day. And then, you know, if you really get lucky and you're nice and lucky, they might even tell you where's the best places to see their line in action. So anyways, enjoy rail fanning, be safe, and have a great evening. This is Den Usa signing off, and we're out of here. It's just getting too cold, and I'm out of batteries and tape and everything else. So have a good evening. Goodbye now. This is Den Usa signing off. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.